Good evening. Many moons ago, I was watching a documentary about preppers, and they exhibited a bunker that was furnished with all manner of firearms suitable to respond to all kinds of different doomsday and apocalyptic scenarios. This one is for carrying, and this one is for your socks as backup, and this one is for a watchful eye, and this one is for the pitiful scoundrel who has evaded the automated Rebaldequin stationed at the gates. And this one is for more formal occasions, in which one's bulkier pieces might spoil the line of his trousers. And what of nourishment? Meekly asked, was met with an upturned nose. We have a half-ton of white rice. Would a salesman have indemnity should he sell in similar fashion? Umbrellas. This one has a cup holder. This one is for dual wielding, and it is shaped like a semicircle so that you can have flexible coverage when in amongst a group of friends. And this one opens outward and collects the dripping so as not to bog the leather when entering your vehicle. And this one has an attachment so that your umbrella can keep not only yourself dry, but has little attachments so that you can keep your young ones dry as well. Indeed, these survivalists are more prepared for calamity than the average person can ever be prepared for mundanity. In simpler times, there was a farmhand sleeping on a grassy knoll by the side of a road. Upon him happened a petty man on a scooter, and this man asked him, "I'm on my way to the city to have my watch repaired. Would you kindly tell me what time it is?" The farmhand turned and looked at the cow grazing quietly beside him, reached out an arm and lifted up the udder of this cow, paused pensively, and said, "Why, it is 1:15." The petty man was impressed by the rudeness, but was in a hurry, and so went on his way. Later returning, he asked in a sly and suspicious tone, "I have returned and have had my watch repaired. Would you kindly tell me the time again so that I may know that my watch has been repaired correctly?" Annoyed, the farmer this time reached out again, turning to his cow, lifted up the udder, paused again, and said, "It's 2:30. Amazing! Astounding! How did you tell the exact time from that cow's udder? Was it the weight? Was it the temperature? Please let me know." The farmhand one last time lifted up the cow's udder, turned to the cow, pointed between its legs, and in front of the petty man, behind the grassy knoll, he saw an enormous clock tower. Wouldn't it be interesting if we could avoid such embarrassments in our day-to-day life? Well, such is not the tale of 3 detectives. These detectives, one after the other, proved their competence through their incompetence, one better than the last. A chief was interviewing several detectives who he would then possibly hire. He gave them each an exam. He said to the first, "Here is a picture of a suspect. Please tell me how you would identify him." The first detective says, "Well, that's easy. I would identify him by the fact that he has one eye." No. He doesn't have one eye. It is a picture of his profile from the side. Now you, second detective, tell me, what would you use to recognize this suspect? The second detective says, "Well, I would know that this is the suspect based upon the fact that he has one ear." No. Next. How you would identify this suspect? The detective says, "Oh, well, that's easy. He has contact lenses." "Oh, just a moment. I will check." "Yes, you are right. How did you know?" Well, a man with only one eye and only one ear can't wear glasses. And then I wonder why some people need glasses, why others don't. Perhaps before we are born, what if God were to reveal to us that you have 100 hedons of pleasure and 400 dolorometers of suffering that you will experience in this coming life? I offer you the opportunity to attribute them as you please, much like a D&D character sheet. Alternately, you may simply roll the dice and live the life that I have planned for you. It might be tempting to ask, I want to be a millionaire, an astronaut. I want to take over the world. God might say, all right, but you will be blind, deaf, and dumb, and you will die at the age of 20, stricken with cancer, and will have lived your life as a paraplegic. Then it makes perfect sense to assume that all athletes in the Olympics might, for example, have, knock on wood, some kind of drastic misfortune upon achieving their life's ambitions. And this reminds me of a question: how to give people the impression that you are wealthy without saying outright that you are wealthy. But what does it mean then to be humble? If you were to wake up in the morning, you were to go to your door because you heard a sharp rapping. As you opened the door, you were met with the sounding of trumpets. For a short, eccentric man quickly ran away, leaving in your hands a small waxen scroll. This scroll is an offer, and when you open it, it says, Lord Farquaad grants you the opportunity to have a lifetime of infinite financial resources, provided upon the sole condition that you spend this money only on Shrek-themed products and services. So that means that if you were to buy a Lamborghini, you would have to paint it green, and you would have to have Shrek ears. I ask you, my delightful audience, to hold yourselves and answer me my question by a show of hands. Would you refuse this offer? And now, would you accept this offer and bind yourself by your treasures? Thank you very much. Please enjoy the rest of the show.